Okay, so let's talk about one of the most frustrating feelings in the world. You're putting in the work, you're hitting the gym, you're doing your cardio, you're trying to eat clean, but that stubborn bit of fat, especially right around your stomach, just will not budge. Well, today, we're going to get into exactly why your hard work might not be paying off. And I'm willing to bet the answer is not what you think.
Does this whole scenario just sound way too familiar? You're following all the advice you see online, right? Go harder, cut the carbs, follow these strict rules, but when you look in the mirror, it's just not reflecting the insane amount of effort you're putting in. You feel like you're doing everything right, but you're just stuck. And this is the most important thing I want you to hear today. If you're hitting a plateau, it is almost never a failure of your willpower. It's a failure of the plan you're following. Seriously. The problem isn't you, it's the advice you've been sold.
So, where should we start? Well, let's go after public enemy number one in pretty much all of modern diet culture: carbohydrates. For years, they've been blamed for absolutely everything. But is that really the truth?
You see, here's the core of the problem with the whole war on carbs. It's just lazy language. When someone online tells you to cut carbs, they flash pictures of donuts, soda, and pizza. And yeah, of course, cutting back on that stuff helps. But what they conveniently do is lump all of that junk food in with amazing nutrient-dense fuel sources like rice, potatoes, fruit, and lentils. You know, the foods your body actually needs to perform at its best. Let's just nerd out for a second. Carbohydrates break down into glucose. That's your body's favorite high-octane fuel. Your brain alone needs a ton of it every single day just to think straight. And for any of us who actually lift weights, carbs are what fuel those heavy, intense sets. They aren't the enemy. They're a performance tool, plain and simple. So why does everyone you know who tried a low-carb diet swear it was magic? Well, it's a really powerful illusion. Here's what happens. 1. For every gram of carbs you store, your body holds onto a few grams of water. So when you cut carbs, you just flush out all that water. The scale drops fast, but guess what? It's water, not fat. 2. You automatically cut out a huge category of junk food. And 3, going super low carb can sometimes kill your appetite for a little while. So it feels like it's working, but it's mostly for these misleading reasons. And this brings us to the scientific bottom line. When researchers actually compare different diets, and this is the important part, where the total calories and protein are the same, low-carb diets show zero special advantage for fat loss. The magic was never about cutting carbs. It's always been about being in a calorie deficit and getting enough protein. Any good diet will do that. Okay, so if carbs aren't the big bad villain we thought they were, what is actually going on with that stubborn belly fat? To get that, we have to look past the food and look deeper into your body's ancient, hardwired survival programming. See, the fat around your midsection isn't like the fat on your arms. It's way more hormonally active, and it's super sensitive to stress signals. Think about it from an evolutionary standpoint. Its job is to protect your vital organs and act as a quick-access energy reserve in case of a threat like a famine. Your body doesn't want to get rid of it. It sees it as a life-saving asset. And the main hormone in charge of this whole operation is cortisol. Now, cortisol isn't bad. It's a survival tool that gets you ready to fight or run from a threat. The problem is, in our modern world, the threat signal is always on, which means our cortisol levels are just constantly elevated. And what does your body see as a threat? Well, it's not just your stressful job. It's getting 5 hours of sleep a night. It's crash dieting and slashing your calories way too low. It's doing intense HIIT workouts every single day without enough rest. All of these things scream danger to your body, telling it to hang on tight to its emergency savings account. Yep, that stubborn belly fat. And here is the big idea that changes everything. Your body does not reward punishment. You can't force it into submission. It only gets leaner when it gets signals of safety. Things like enough food, good rest, and manageable stress. That's what tells your biology that the crisis is over and it's finally safe to let go of those emergency reserves.
This whole idea brings us to the bigger picture of why so many of those viral diet plans you see are just designed to fail you in the long run, even if they seem to work for a little bit.
Let's use a classic example you've definitely heard 1,000 times. Don't eat anything after 8 p.m. It sounds so simple, so disciplined, a nice, clear rule to follow.
And for the first week, it actually works. But why? Is there some kind of metabolic magic that happens at 8:01 p.m.? No, of course not. It works simply because it stops you from late-night snacking, which is an effortless way to cut a few hundred calories from your day. That's it. But what's the hidden long-term cost of a rule like that? Well, it creates this huge psychological restriction.
Now food has a curfew. You start obsessing over the clock. And eventually your biology pushes back with intense cravings, and you end up binging, which just makes you feel like a total failure.
And this is the most devious part of it all. These diets don't usually fail in some big, spectacular flameout. They fail quietly. They just slowly stop working over months as your willpower gets worn down. And because the rule was so simple, you end up thinking you were the problem, not the advice.
So, if the viral rules and the quick fixes are broken, what actually works? Well, it's not about finding some new magic trick. It's about focusing on the 4 big fundamental levers that send signals of safety and strength to your body. The signals that finally give it permission to let go.
Lever number 1 is getting enough protein. Protein does so much more than just build muscle. It is incredibly satiating, so it keeps you feeling full and kills cravings. It also has a high thermic effect, which just means your body burns more calories just to digest it. Most importantly, it protects your muscle when you're in a deficit, which keeps your metabolism fired up. Lever number 2, resistance training. So many people just try to hammer endless cardio to burn fat, but lifting weights is the real game changer. It doesn't just burn calories, it tells your body to build and maintain precious muscle. That's a signal of strength and capability. The complete opposite of the "we're starving and running for our lives" signal that crash dieting and excessive cardio sends.
All right, lever number 3 is probably the most powerful and underrated tool you have: sleep. Getting 7+ hours of quality sleep is just not negotiable. It lowers your cortisol, it helps regulate your hunger hormones, and it's when your body actually recovers and repairs itself. You simply cannot out-train or out-diet terrible sleep.
And finally, lever number 4. You have to actively manage your stress. And no, this doesn't just mean you have to meditate. It means taking your rest days seriously. It means going for low-intensity walks outside. It means scheduling time to just unplug. These things directly lower cortisol and tell your body, hey, we're safe, we're secure, you can stop being in survival mode.
So really, it all just boils down to this one question. I want you to look at everything you're currently doing for your fitness and ask yourself, are you fighting your biology, or are you finally starting to work with it? The answer to that question is everything.
If any of this resonated with you, or maybe changed the way you're thinking about fat loss, let me know in the comments. I'd really love to hear about your experience. I'll be breaking down a lot more myths just like this to help you get the results your hard work actually deserves. Thanks for tuning in.